Thank you for watching this regional forecast for the Corn Belt. I'm Andrew Pritchard, meteorologist with Nutrien Ag Solutions. Well, as we look at temperatures across the region right now, we've got plenty of warm air being drawn up into portions of the high plains. We've got kind of a bite being taken out of that across the eastern Corn Belt. We're going to deal with some cloud cover and rainfall as we head through the day today. Looking at the satellite picture right now, again, we've got an area of low pressure off the Atlantic coast and a frontal boundary extending all the way back into the central plains. We've got thunderstorm activity along that. Again, that's what's moving through portions of the mid-south. Rain and cloud cover going to be pushing through parts of the eastern Corn Belt as we head through the day today as well. So here's a look at the national radar picture. Again, some of that precipitation from the storm system departing across the northeast off toward the Atlantic. That frontal boundary stalled across the mid-Atlantic into the southern plains, again with rain and thunderstorms riding along it as another area of low pressure kind of travels along that frontal boundary. So you look at the hazards map this morning, pretty clear. We've got a dense fog advisory across portions of northwest Kansas into central Nebraska. We've got hydrologic outlooks in effect across portions of North Dakota and Minnesota. Of course, that having to do with the river flood advisories as we start to move toward that season, melting a lot of the snowpack that's kind of packed in across this region. We do have to talk about a low risk for some severe storms across primarily the Ozarks into the Mid-South and the Southeast, Tennessee, Arkansas, parts of the Gulf Coast states in that slight risk as you look at the dark green area extending back into southeast Kansas, southern Missouri, the southern tip of Illinois, parts of Kentucky, and Tennessee. That's where we have a marginal risk today. Primarily talking about some damaging wind gusts, but maybe an isolated tornado possible there as well as these storms kind of quickly move through the area. So here's the area that we're concerned about, maybe an isolated strong storm as we head through the day today. We'll take a look at the high-resolution NAM model and what it's got going on. As we head through the early morning hours, just dealing with some light rain showers, much of the thunderstorm activity back toward the west across the Ozarks, and that'll continue to race from west to east as we head through the afternoon. This is what it looks like right around noon, heading into 6 p.m. on Tuesday. And this is where, again, across parts of central Illinois and Indiana, maybe getting a light drizzle, light mist, not likely looking at a soaking rain up there, but likely a gloomy day. And then this line of thunderstorms continues from west to east across Kentucky and Tennessee into the overnight. We're at midnight now, heading into early Wednesday morning now. This will be sunrise on Wednesday morning, and this is when we expect high pressure to move in. A beautiful day across this area. The Wednesday precipitation likely going to be confined to the northern plains and the upper Midwest, excuse me. And this is where we could see some light rain, some snow accumulating on the north side here across portions of Minnesota and Wisconsin. Otherwise, a cold rain across the remainder of portions of Iowa into Wisconsin. So total precipitation over the next 60 hours. This is where you see the two corridors. Again, here's our southern storm system, the one that brings the scattered showers and storms. This being the northern system here where we could see some cold rain or some accumulating snow. How much snow do we see over the next couple of days? Not very much. A little stripe there across portions of southern Minnesota into northern Wisconsin where maybe again picking up a quick inch or two. As we flip it over, though, and looking at the total precipitation expected through Sunday, we get a whole lot across this region, so we needed to talk about how it is that we go from this to this. And the story is a frontal boundary that's going to be kind of meandering around the Corn Belt. And I'm just going to play a loop with the temperatures here over the next several days, and you'll see it here setting up right across the central portions of the plains into the Ohio River Valley and the eastern Corn Belt before a cold front sweeps through Saturday and Sunday. So just taking a look at this, here's our Tuesday afternoon high temperatures. This is where you can see not only the warmth being drawn northward, but kind of the bite taken out of that by the cloud cover and the rain across the mid-Mississippi Valley, the Great Lakes into the eastern Corn Belt, where clouds and some precipitation going to keep things a bit cooler in the 50s. But once we move that storm system out of here and we look at tomorrow's highs, you'll see the difference that makes, taking away the cloud cover in this region. Now we're drawing that warmth both across the central plains and into the eastern portions of the Corn Belt, where high temperatures will reach the lower 60s tomorrow. Taking it into Thursday, you'll really see this frontal boundary begin to firm up. There you see it stretching from portions of Indiana into Kansas, all the way back into Colorado. We'll take it into Friday, watching the same thing. Here would be Friday afternoon's high temperatures. Again, very strong boundary right across this region with 70s and 80s being drawn northward across portions of Kansas, Missouri, southern Illinois, and Indiana, with cooler temperatures in the 40s and 50s off to the north side. And so a frontal boundary like this, meandering back and forth, with over the top of it, or while over the top of that, we bring in some very strong jet stream winds. We're going to see a trough begin to emerge from the Intermountain West really beginning Thursday, but really especially getting into Friday and Saturday. So now we've got this frontal boundary stalled across the region. We're bringing very strong jet stream winds into the region. That sets the stage not only for kind of repeated rounds of showers and storms, but the potential for maybe a couple strong to severe storms, especially as we get into the later part of the week. And that starts to be picked up by the thunderstorm index that we developed here over the last spring and summer that helps us kind of judge an environment here and how supportive it is of not only thunderstorms, but maybe some strong storms. And so, again, as we start to bring that frontal boundary into this region, taking the strong jet stream winds over the top of that, I guess just really refine the arrow more toward this region where that frontal boundary is going to be stalled Thursday, and then especially, I think, Friday. And then Saturday, this is when we start to bring the front through the region and kind of clear that from west to east. So you're seeing the thunderstorm threat being taken off to the east as we get into Saturday. So we will be talking about this more. I know Eric will have an update Thursday, and then I'll talk about the Corn Belt threat Friday and Saturday with our Friday morning update. But kind of setting the stage here with that frontal boundary, the strong jet stream winds for the potential for not only some thunderstorms, but maybe a couple strong to severe storms across that region. So let's look at this with the European model, the precipitation forecast, a little more intuitive look here at what we can expect. Again, starting on Tuesday, watching the rain and thunderstorms making their way through this area, and then watching for that stripe of cold rain and maybe a couple inches of snow across portions of the upper Midwest as we head into the day on Wednesday. Now we're getting into Thursday. This is when we're going to start to bring that frontal boundary right into this region. So you're going to watch as we get into Thursday evening, developing some scattered showers, maybe a couple thunderstorms, perhaps some snow back toward portions of the high plains here, South Dakota and northern Nebraska. We'll head into Thursday night now and into Friday morning. We'll take the front off there. You know it's there. Heading into Friday afternoon and evening, this is where we could see, again, I think maybe the better chance for a few strong storms across this region as an area of low pressure travels along that frontal boundary. And then Friday night heading into Saturday, our area of low pressure kind of starts to emerge and wrap up here, moving across the state of Iowa potentially on Saturday morning. That's what the European model is projecting at this point. It's been rather consistent with the evolution of these two systems, so that's nice to see. We'll see the front sweep through portions of Illinois, the Mississippi Valley here Saturday, pushing into far eastern portions of the Corn Belt Saturday night, exiting on Sunday. Sunday looks to be a beautiful day across the Corn Belt, but Thursday, Friday, Saturday looking to be a bit unsettled with that chance for a couple severe storms, then the chance for a little snow on the north side. Here's again a look at the total liquid precipitation expected over the next 5 days, taking it all the way into Sunday at 7 p.m. And again, anywhere you see that yellow shading, that's what we're talking about, an inch or more of precipitation. Some of these corridors here where we see the red shading, that's 2 to 4 inches of precipitation. So again, the opportunity for some heavier precip across parts of the Mid-South, back into maybe the Ozarks and then the eastern Corn Belt, and then the chance for a little bit of snow here across northern portions of the U.S. here. And we're looking at the probability of 3 inches or more of snow accumulating between now and next Monday, so over the next 6 days. And again, you see maybe 40 to 60% odds here across portions of Wyoming, into Nebraska, South Dakota, central portions of Minnesota, and then northern Wisconsin and the UP of Michigan. Elsewhere, warm enough that we're going to be dealing with all rain south of this line as we bring in a very spring-like air mass to the region. So we'll look at your high temperatures of the next few days. Again, today, 60s being drawn as far north as South Dakota and maybe even far southern portions of North Dakota. Meanwhile, clouds and precipitation going to keep things much cooler across the eastern Corn Belt and the Great Lakes with those highs in the 40s and 50s. That changes tomorrow, warming up to the 60s across Illinois, Indiana, and Ohio. And we're going to really start to bring that frontal boundary in and kind of strengthen that. So this is, again, where we'll be dealing with that chance for rain, thunderstorms, and maybe a few severe storms along that frontal boundary. Heading into Thursday, Friday, Saturday, that front's moving from west to east, but I'll go ahead and let you know, even though I don't have the graphics up here, Sunday and Monday, we start to immediately return warmth to the central portions of the Corn Belt. So as this front sweeps through on Saturday, it's not going to flip us to a cold pattern. We just really kind of start to bring the same air mass back northward as we head into early next week. Have a great day, and I'll talk to you again on Friday morning, but Eric will be back tomorrow morning with a look at the long-range forecast. On Thursday, we'll have our next 1 to 2 week outlook and the ag forecast video. And then if you missed yesterday's video on Monday morning, Eric did a really good job of taking a look at where we're headed over the next 7 to 10 days. So if you're curious about the longer range, be sure to go back and check that out. Have a great day.